Were suspended earlier in the year for hazing. The fired band director says, quote, "It's no secret, it's just a culture. As much as I regret it, kids nowadays engage in it." Why do we have to beat down someone to prove their allegiance to a group? Well, joining me tonight, CNN national correspondent David Mattingly, attorney for Robert Champion's family, Christopher Chestnut. Christopher, it's just an awful story. How is the family doing now?
They're devastated. They remain devastated. There is an incurable emptiness that they're feeling. But there's also an urgency within the family to articulate the issues of hazing, to encourage people to come forward if they are being hazed, because they, as they said, they do not want anyone else to experience the devastation that they're currently enduring.
And Christopher, don't we hold the people in authority there to some accountability for this? I mean, the director, I guess, was suspended. Now he wants his job back. Aren't the people in authority, the administrators, responsible for what's going on here?
Listen, it appears that Florida A&M did a cost-benefit analysis on hazing and determined that the benefit of it outweighed the cost. And that ultimately cost Robert his life. We opine that the culture of hazing doesn't rest squarely on any one person's shoulders, that this was a culture deeply embedded in the history of the FAMU band. This was a practice and procedure that the administration ignored. They turned a blind eye, they turned a deaf ear. And so we're demanding not only accountability, but acknowledgement and correction.
Here is a former Florida A&M student, Ivory Lucky, talking about his experience being hazed in the marching band.
Yeah, I was, taken into a room, blindfolded, and paddled with, they have these wooden paddles. And after the paddling stopped, it was actually physical blows, face slapping, just all sorts of things to cause pain and suffering.
All right, Chris, I want to ask a difficult question. The African-American, the black colleges, my friends that are African-American tell me that in the black colleges, I was not aware of this, that the beatdown and the branding and the hazing is at a whole other level than many other institutions in the country. Why, and what needs to be done about it?
I'm not comfortable saying that this is an issue isolated to HBCUs, historically black colleges. I think that violence is prevalent throughout our society. I think this occurs at majority institutions as well as historically black colleges and universities. Our concentration right now is on the band at Florida A&M University. I haven't heard of anyone dying as of recent as a result of physical hazing at any of the other institutions. So I can't attribute this to any other historically black institution or institution of color. I don't think this is a black problem. I think it's an American problem. I think right now it's a FAMU problem, and that's where we intend to address it now.
I couldn't agree with you more. It is a problem. I think it's all this stuff to me sort of feels bizarrely related. All these sexual abuse scandals, the hazing, a lot of, and I tell you, I've been talking on college campuses for years, and the amount of alcohol and sort of unwanted sexual contact that goes on, and administrators just go, "Oh, kids will be kids. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?" And it seems like at Florida A&M, that's sort of been the attitude. The band director, Julian White, earlier today, talking about the culture of hazing and why he wants his job back. Watch this.
I reported the hazing activities were confirmed by me, nobody else. The hazing activities were confirmed by Dr. Julian White. So how would I be negligent or misconduct in not reporting the activities when I did report them?
David Mattingly, so once again, is it further up the food chain we need to direct our attention?
Well, there's so much finger pointing going on right now, but the fact remains we have a 26-year-old young man who is dead, and authorities are saying that hazing was involved. And this appears to be a very poorly kept secret at Florida A&M. Since this incident, we've heard from former students who were talking about the hazing that they went through, involving paddles and physical blows over a period of hours. We've heard from parents who say that they've complained about their children being part of hazing at this school. But at the same time, the news that has been coming out, we hear the band director talking about in his defense how he sent this up the food chain, so to speak, to say that this is going on. He says that he has been responsible for disciplining many students over the years for hazing, and that very rarely does the higher administration follow up with it with expulsions, further suspensions, or any sort of criminal investigations. Remember, in the state of Florida, it's a class 3 felony to be engaged in hazing. So he may have a point.
David, I got to interrupt you. I have to interrupt you. I'm so confused. What is it with the administrations that they don't have time for class 3 felonies? It just seems to be what we're hearing here over and over again, whether it's Sandusky case or the Fine case or this case, which is like, yeah, there's some bad stuff going on. Anyway, we got more important things to handle. What is that?
Well, right. I hear your frustration, and we've heard this same frustration from parents who have come forward and from former students. They say this has been going on for a long time. Why hasn't there been more openness? Why hasn't there been more done about it? And we're hearing from Champion's family today saying that they're filing a lawsuit. They're not talking about any details about who they're going to go after or who they're going to hold accountable, but they say they want answers. First of all, how is this allowed to happen? They want to expose what they believe is a culture of hazing at this university and a culture of silence that goes with it. Now, they talk about the silence involving the students themselves engaging in this, but does that silence extend further up into the administration? They want to see if that can be exposed as well.
I think pretty clearly it does. And thank you, guys. Thank Christopher. Best of luck with this, and David as well. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, there's something going on here.